Everybody, and welcome to Connect and Grow podcast. And hopefully, we get this on YouTube. We're getting better with this. So, today we've got Kathy Ashton. So, Kathy, welcome. How are you today?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Jackie. Hi, welcome, everybody. Looking forward to today's podcast. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So, guys, I am going to do my best to keep this around the 20, 30-minute mark. I know that your time is precious if you're listening to it, but sometimes when Kathy and I get going, we just keep going. So, I'm looking outside my window and I'm like, the sun, it's just beautiful with the sun shining here in Melbourne. So I hope that wherever you guys are, there's some sunshine. So Kathy, how do you feel like it's winter and then the sun's shining? Like how does that make you feel?
For me personally, it is my favorite time of year. So if I can possibly have, it's cold, but it's sunshiny, so you can smell a hint of spring in the air. And it is my absolute favorite time of year. It's how I blossom. I blossom in this cold, sunny weather. I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's interesting. I was walking around the house this morning trying to decide because I'm still on a bit of a limited food intake, and I'm bored with the food choices that they've given me. I'm like, Anyway, I was walking around the house going, oh, I'm cold, and then I'm like literally shaking, and I'm like, then I get to put on a different top, and I'm like, you know what, just get over it because before you know it, you're gonna go, oh, it's too hot, like.
Absolutely. Totally understand that. Yeah. I don't like the heat. I'm not a summer person. So it's interesting if we're ever going to travel, we travel in the Europe winter
Okay.
because I come alive. I thrive in the cold. So
Yeah.
autumn, winter, spring, they're my sort of, but if spring starts getting too hot, I'm like, yeah, nah, this is
Yeah,
not.
not done.
And it's so funny because it's cold in the house, so we immediately put the heating on, right, to heat it back up again. And in summer, so to bring it down to about 22 degrees or something like that. And then in summer, as soon as I walk in the door, I put the air conditioning on.
Yep.
So I've got to live in the cold. So it's good. But no, I love this time of year. It's beautiful.
Yes. So the current article that we've got out now, the whole magazine was really around that change and embracing change, and I always have fun looking for the when you give me a recipe and then I have a look at the recipe and I go, right, okay, and I go into Canva because I get the images from Canva, and I'm like, I type in plant based, and then try and find it because sometimes if you search because I know that one time you did like a shepherd's pie, but it was the plant based one, and but I'm just getting so many positive feedback around like, oh, I love this recipe, and I never thought that I would be a plant based person, and I said, well, go listen to our podcast because the way Kathy shares about the benefits of the, and it doesn't have to be boring. So as we're going through the change of season, so as you said, you love the cold and you blossom, but I'm a little bit of a hibernator in winter because I really feel the cold, but I'm like when we plant something and it just starts to shoot through and then in spring it blossoms. So that is me. So like the plants change and we change, how do we know what foods are in season, like especially as we're coming into spring, like because that would be a really effective way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting thing because food is available all around the world all the time. With our modern, with transport, you can get the same food all year round. Whereas when, God forbid, when I was a child, there was a real change in the food landscape between winter and between summer and spring and summer. So you could see it, and you'd wait all year to watermelons to be back in season because you hadn't had them during winter because they weren't around. But these days they're grown in Queensland or they're grown over in Asia and then they're all imported in. So you can we've lost that ability to understand what foods are actually winter ones and what what oranges and all of these, what apples are around that should only be around during certain set times of the year. And
Mm,
that we've lost that ability, we've lost that
mm.
understanding on what it is. So the way you can kind of work it out is by cost. So,
Okay, sure.
so when the foods are like when mangoes, you probably could get a
Mm,
mango now if you wanted to
mm,
go into a supermarket and find a mango. Mangoes aren't in season; it's winter,
mm,
right?
mm.
Mangoes come into
Yeah,
season in spring and summer. So, but you'll notice that the price of them is very expensive. You might be paying $8 or $9 for a mango because it's been brought in from
wow.
California or it's been brought in from Europe somewhere or Asia or wherever.
Mm,
So, but then all of a sudden, during summer, you're going to get two mangoes for $1 type of thing. You know, they
mm.
become super cheap because we're trying to get rid of them. And they've over ripened, and you'll see mangoes everywhere. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, then it obviously is mango season.
Right. So that's a
So,
good tip.
yeah, I go with cost. If they're really expensive, then guess what? Even berries at the moment, right? You can get berries all year round. Berries are
Yeah,
a summer thing, they're not a winter
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And when I was a child growing up, the one thing that we had on Christmas morning was this big bowl of berries, and we had
Mm,
it with croissant. So that was this tradition that we had for Christmas morning breakfast, and it will
mm,
always had this big bowl of berries because berries were cheap.
mm.
So if you're trying to do a big bowl of berries now, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
I did buy some strawberries the other day because I looked at them and I went, oh, actually, that price isn't too bad. Like, and I normally grow strawberries as well, and I've really got to get back out into the garden and sort that out because I was growing cauliflower at one point and that, but because then I wasn't allowed to eat a lot of that stuff, I went, why am I growing it?
Exactly, exactly.
But yeah, I have actually, I think I've got some watermelon seeds here. Like, and I was like, where could I put them? Because like you need them like for the
Yeah,
runner.
need some run. You need a lot of space. Yeah, they'll take
Yeah.
over your garden, and you'll get dozens
Well,
of them.
well, maybe I should just start all in one part of the back fence and just go, yeah, go find your pathway. Be
Yeah,
free.
be free, and then give them all to the neighbours. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
but it's really interesting because, you know, it's good to have these things and to be able to eat the berries and things like that all year round,
Mm,
but it's not how the human body really works. The human body really likes its winter food. It likes its to go into hibernation and to have all of the tubers and the carrots and the parsnips and the all of these sorts of things. So it really likes to have that sort of food. The potatoes, you know, sort of winter's big
mm,
potato time, and it's what we like to do. So often I'll get asked questions from people, and what about a raw food diet, Kathy? You know, should I be
mm,
eating raw food? Well, not in
mm,
winter. You shouldn't.
mm.
It's
Interesting.
it's
Why?
because it's not how our body works. So
Okay.
it's all good because they're very raw foods, very low in calories. It's then you know they're not as energy dense, not as calorie rich. All of these
Mm,
sorts of things. So it's much better if we eat the raw foods, grow for it in summer. You know,
mm,
go for it because salads is what we want to eat. You don't
mm.
really look for eating salads in winter. It's not
No.
what we kind of want to do.
Okay, so on that note, so your things like your lettuce and your spinach and your cucumber and your capsicum and tomatoes, they're all
Yep.
high water based.
Content. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then what about the winter foods? Are they less water percentage?
Well, some of them are. Some of them
Mhm.
are. It depends on what you. I might still do a capsicum. I might still do, but I roast the capsicum this time, right? And
Ah.
you know, still be putting that into it, still so getting all the vitamins and minerals. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because I don't know about you, but when you kind of get towards the end of winter, you're
Mm.
really beginning to crave those watery, summery veggies, and you
Something a bit
look.
light.
Yeah, and you're beginning to say, and it's natural within your body,
Mm.
like it actually
Mm.
feels really natural. And
Mm.
it feels like oh, no, all I want tonight is a salad. And you go,
Mm,
where did that come from? Why do I need that?
mm,
And it's not
mm,
necessarily saying your body's dehydrated or anything. It's just what you're craving. It's just what you need.
mm,
And if we listen to those body signs and signs, really, you listen to those, you begin to go, no, I'm going to have this big veggie. Whereas in winter, I'll still do a salad, I'll still do things like lettuce, but I'm going to put warm vegetables on top of it. So it becomes a
mm.
warm salad.
Salad,
You know,
yeah.
you're still getting all the water content in things, but it's just different.
Mm, mm.
Yeah,
That's
same, to use a very good saying, same, but different.
yeah, yeah, I like that. I know
Yeah,
too that it's such I love the highlights of like, yeah, sure, if you really want a mango now, you can have a mango. You're just gonna pay for it. And especially and I don't want to focus on a negative, but like let's just face it, the cost of living right now, like everything we do, and
yeah.
one of the things I've been focusing on as part of my business and our rebrand and things like that, and as I do things, is what is the return on investment?
Mm.
And that's where I want to focus a little bit more, like with even our food. Like I'm really loving that saying return on investment because I'm hyper
Yeah,
focused.
well, so that's really interesting because return on investment is really like critical.
Mm-hmm.
Often what we do is we will go, I can't afford, like, cost of living is expensive. So,
Mm,
and at the moment we're all feeling it,
mm,
especially if you live in Victoria, right?
mm.
Victoria's economy is a little bit on the slippery slide.
Yeah,
So
let's start
we
there.
won't get into the
No.
politics of that because that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
However, so what we do is if we're finding things a little tough, what we will often do is the first thing that goes is our food. Right, we
Mm,
will go. We'll think, oh, well, I can go to McDonald's because it's cheaper than going somewhere else, and we start cutting back on that. But the return on investment's extremely poor because
mhm,
if you start making poor food choices, you're getting
mhm,
poor nutrients out of them,
mhm,
and
mm.
therefore you're going to get poor health.
Yep.
So when it comes to food in our house, we eat our money.
Mhm,
That's what we do. We eat our
mhm,
money. I
mm.
often come out of the supermarket and go, "You've got to be joking." But in that trolley, whatever foods that I've actually gone and got, and yes, some of it might be expensive, but
Mm,
I go, you know what? The return on investment into my body
mm.
is astronomical.
And
Is
then the ripple effect,
astronomical.
right?
The
Yeah,
ripple
the
effect.
ripple effect. Because
Yeah.
and and like while I've been on this restrictive um diet while waiting for tests, which once again, thank you, Victoria, for delays in the health system as well. It's just taking forever. And I've noticed that, like, being on a limited choice, um, then how I don't have a huge amount in the way of choice for food, right? So it's not like I can go in and go, right, we're going to grab all these veggies because a lot of the veggies I'm not at the moment
Allowed to
having.
eat. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing was that the other day I just decided to have one of the things that was on the do not eat list, and I actually felt better in my mind and in my
Yeah.
energy because when we limit foods, even though
Mhm.
I'm following medical advice, so please always follow medical advice, right? Like it is the most, and if you're not happy, keep getting second and third opinions. But sometimes we have to just follow those rules
Yeah.
for our body, our gut, and that. But the toll it can take. So if you're listening to this and you've decided to put yourself on a really strict dietary program, always seek the counsel of somebody like Kathy who can actually guide you properly in your food choices. Because what I'm also seeing, I think it was on LinkedIn, you did, and we talked about this before, and the walnut comes to mind because of the brain. But I'm loving how you put the food, and then you go like, I'm gonna make this up, so I've probably got this wrong. So jump in. Like I think I saw an
Yeah.
orange and So with the orange, that's almost like the heart. Like to me, I came up with heart for orange. But I love that. Can you talk to that a little bit more about how sometimes the food that we're choosing is actually helping give
It's
nutrients?
called, yeah, it's called the signature of food. And the
Right.
signature of food goes back down to what foods look like. Like the walnut does look like a brain.
Mm,
And believe it or not, the walnut has incredible nutrients that are very, very good for the brain. You know, it's full of omega 3s, it's anti-inflammatory, it's got all of these beautiful nutrients in it that our brain really likes, and it's very good at some of the cofactors. So the B vitamins, the cofactors that allow neurotransmitters to be made. So
mm-hmm,
the other thing about the walnuts is they're crunchy. Did you know
mm.
that when you're eating crunchy foods, you're actually making baby neurons in through the
We did talk
hippocampus?
about that. So
Yeah,
go check out the last
yeah,
podcast. We
yeah,
missed
we
it
did. That's
last month,
right.
but in June we talked
Yeah.
about that because I'm like I missed that crunch.
So one of the things is that what you will be experiencing is when you go on what we call an elimination diet, so a diet where you're actually eliminating a lot of the foods, you're eliminating these cofactors, and
Mm,
over time and distance, your gut microbiome and your body will start saying to you, feed me this or feed
mm,
me that. It's exactly like,
yep.
hey, I need you to eat this because,
Mm,
and you'll be drawn to that. So if
mm,
you're a person who can listen to and you're intuitive in your own body, then
mm,
intuitively you'll go and choose things and you go, yeah, but that's on my elimination list. So,
mm,
and it's really difficult. So it's really important not to do that. So the signature of foods is all about things that look like it. One of them is tomatoes. So if you
mm,
open a tomato, it does have 4 chambers. It's very much a
mm,
heart food. Very
mm,
much a heart food. If you
mm,
look at anything red, is again
mm,
for heart and blood. If you're looking
mm,
at, say, did you know an avocado? It takes an
mm,
avocado 9 months to actually develop into being a
mm,
ripe avocado. And when you
mm.
look at it and you cut it open, it looks
Mm.
like it's got a baby inside, which is the big seed,
Oh,
and
oh,
it looks
yes,
like it looks like a uterus.
yes.
Avocados are amazing for women's health, for our ovaries, for
Mm,
our uterus, for all of these
mm,
things.
mm,
Amazing for that. And
mm,
it's really important if you go in and type into the signature of food, and you
mm,
start looking at what foods are good for what, you can go, oh yeah, actually that does look like this. Celery is amazing for osteoporosis. The
mm,
same chemicals, the same
mm,
chemical structure of celery is the same
mm.
chemical structure of our bones.
Right.
And if you
Okay.
get a really good, like a fresh stick of celery and you snap
Yeah.
it, it
Yep.
breaks like a bone,
Yes. That's also
right?
got a crunch factor, which is for the neurons. So it's
And it's
perfect.
that's right, and it's a crunch factor for our hippocampus, for the baby neurons.
Mm,
So it's really important to. I love the signature of food. It's really
mm,
interesting to actually type into Google what is the signature of food for this food or that food, and it
mm,
comes up and it'll tell you all about it and why those nutrients are good. And it's the cofactors of the nutrients. It's not necessarily um, uh, like carrots for the eyes. Everybody knows
mm,
that one. But if you
mm,
cut a carrot, it looks like an eye. You can
mm,
see it, and it has
mm,
even the little things that radiate out of it, the same as
mm,
if you did that with our eyes. But
mm,
it's the cofactors that we need too. It's those vitamins and the minerals, the phytonutrients, all of these things that are in these foods that we actually need. And
mm,
it's important to eat them.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
it's
Yeah.
where we get them. The thing is we don't get them out of supplements.
No, no, only.
Supplements are not what we should be spending our money on. Number one, they're
Mm,
expensive. They are
mm,
rarely therapeutic.
mm,
So you'll see zinc in everything, in a
mm,
multivitamin. Zinc is in
mm.
everything, but we need 8 milligrams of zinc for our daily requirement. But
Right,
15 milligrams is a therapeutic dose.
right.
So if
Okay.
we're zinc deficient and you're looking
Yeah.
at a multivitamin and it's got zinc in it and it might
Mm,
have zinc equivalent 2 milligrams,
yeah.
it's why would you do it? It's a waste of money.
Well, there was always that big I mean, I know post bariatric surgery, and even they still say now, yeah, take your multivitamin for
Yeah,
that particular but I think if you like I remember even before I had bariatric surgery and I took a multivitamin, and I remember going back to my GP and I went, I feel like I'm just peeing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
that's
think,
your B vitamins all coming out, and they're water soluble. So they're your B vitamins. If your body doesn't need them, it'll pee it out, and you'll have bright yellow pee. So
yep.
it's what
Um,
happens. But
and asparagus is like yeah, you can always tell when someone goes to the bathroom before you that's eaten asparagus.
But the interesting thing about asparagus and pea, that doesn't happen to everybody. It only
Doesn't
happens to
it?
no, it doesn't happen to
Wow.
everybody.
So why
Yeah,
does that happen?
some people have a particular gene, or they metabolize it in a particular way that makes their pea smell. But other people, like I could eat 10 bunches of asparagus and my pea doesn't smell.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I can see the genetic factor because it's certainly something that was in our family. Like, yeah.
it's a genetic predisposition. Not everybody has it, which is mind blowing, really, because everybody goes, it makes my pea smell, and I go, have you eaten it? Are you sure? And asparagus is a classic because asparagus at the moment is really expensive to buy.
Yes.
But come spring, summer, you get that window where you get beautiful, big, thick asparagus from Kui Rup, which is cheap as chips. And that's the time to eat it. That's the time to be eating. And the thing is I have a winter cleanse program, which is all around winter vegetables. And then I have a spring, summer a cleanse program, which is using all of the things, and we use it in season. So they're relatively similar, but they are based around the seasons because that's what we're going into. And hibernation time, winter is a time for putting on a bit of weight, right? Because we're not out there, we're nowhere near as active, and we are eating more calorie-rich foods. But come summer is the time for shedding all that weight. So it's really important to weigh yourself at the end of winter and say, oh, I've put on 2 kilos. And then use spring, summer to get those 2 kilos off.
Yeah. And I think too that, and we touched on this, I think, last time as well, is even though we're in winter, and if you're listening and you're overseas, you're in, your summer, water is still important in winter just as much as it is in summer. It's something that, like, I notice myself, if I haven't drank enough water, and unfortunately water is extremely problematic, like, for me to drink, it causes a lot of pain. But if I haven't drank enough water, my eyes get really sore and tired. My energy, I'm like, it's time for a nap. Like, So do you want to talk to the water and
Water is so important, and we don't drink enough of it. It's really simple. We and if we do drink it, we're thinking we're getting it in sodas, and you're not. You need to drink water. Our bodies, majority percentage of it is water, so you have to replenish that. Putting moisturizers on your skin does not moisturize your skin. There is some research out there that actually says it dehydrates it, right, and brings on the wrinkles. Whereas water plumps it up as the natural thing. So if you want to stay young, and we need to drink water. Your majority of your brain is actually water. So if you want to if you're feeling dehydrated or you're not thinking properly and your brain's not functioning properly, it's water. And as we age, we stop drinking it. And then the elderly are classic, right? I might have asked my dad, have you drunk your water today? Yes, I've had 2 glasses. And that's all he's had. So instead of going, Dad, you need to drink a litre of water a day, but you don't drink it because it wakes you in the middle of the night to pee and all of those sorts of things, interrupts your sleep. But it's like, when you put water on a plant that's really, really dry, the water tends to go straight through it. But if you keep watering that plant, you keep watering that plant, you keep watering that plant, eventually, and your little bits of water often, then the plant starts taking it up, and it goes, oh, I need to do this. Well, this is the same thing with human body. If you're continually drinking water, even if it's just a glass an hour, you will have, and you get your 8 hours in or your 12
mm,
glasses of water in, whatever it
mm,
is, just one
mm,
glass an hour,
mm,
then your everything changes. Your brain, your skin, everything. Your kidneys function better.
mm.
Is so important. And
Yeah.
don't worry about going alkaline water or hydrogen ion water or things. Just good old Melbourne has extremely good water. Drink water, and if you like it
Mm.
hot, drink it hot. If
And you
so,
can
for
always
for
filter it
me,
as
I
well if you want.
yeah, exactly. For me, in I don't drink a lot of tea and coffee, so
Mm,
but I will have a hot water
mm.
because it's cold at the moment.
Yeah.
So I will sit down after dinner and have a hot water for
Mm,
my as I watch the TV, and that's my cup of tea. So
mm,
I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. My body uses the water, and I'm not peeing more. Whereas if I do
mm,
tea or coffee, you'll
mm,
find they're dehydratants, they're
mm,
diuretics, they're going to make
mm,
you want to pee. So
mm,
just
mm,
drink a hot water. Get used to
mm.
drinking hot water. Throw a thing of lemon in it. Throw a bit
I
of
was
kiwi
going to
in it.
say, if you're able to, I mean, dentists always say don't have lemon, like, because it affects your teeth. But at the same time, and I saw something the other day, and somebody said, "Oh, I've got to stop drinking through a store because I'm getting all these little wrinkles here from pressing my." I'm like,
Straw lip.
we just can't win, can we? It's like,
No.
don't do this, don't do that. Like this of it. No, it's just important. I mean, I will sometimes, and once again, always follow, medical advice and things like that. But for me, because I struggle to get water in, sometimes I will like add a hydrolyte um
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
tablet to it so that I can. And I'm mostly on decaf coffee and that now.
Yeah.
I don't drink tea, but yeah, the decaf is much better because ironically, um, decaf brightens me. Like I feel more energized. Whereas if I have caffeine, I'm like, yeah, it must be time for a nap. Like
Wow. Has the reverse with you. Do you
it's
know what's really
fun.
interesting at the moment, Jack? I've got an 8-month-old granddaughter, and
Yes.
she's just been introduced to solids, and it is hilarious. So in the last month, though, my daughter has introduced her to water, drinking water out of a sippy cup, so she can
Okay.
now suck it up a straw.
Yep.
I have never, when the first time we gave it to her, I have never, like she sipped it up the water, and her little eyes just bugged out of her head. Like she just thought it was the best thing ever, and she could not stop drinking it. And
Wow.
yesterday we were feeding it,
Yeah.
feeding her veggies and everything, but
Yeah.
she could see her water cup, and
Yeah.
she just wanted it. And the
Wow.
joy on her face of
Yeah.
drinking water just made me go, wow, that is
And she has
amazing. That was
nobody
little,
told her that. She's just
no,
instinctively gone, oh, this is good.
this is good. I like this. This is really, really good. And she could just sit there and drink a whole cup of water. Now she gets all the water from her breast milk and things
Oh,
like that. So it's not because
sorry. Hold on one sec. Sorry, guys. I forgot my alarm. So sorry about that.
so it's not the fact that she's dehydrated, because she's not, but the fact is that she's seen this new thing and it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I just sat there and we went, wow, we didn't know that water tasted that good.
Yeah.
So we've now started looking at water completely differently, like,
Yeah.
and now trying to appreciate it from Hazel's point of view.
So
And
cute.
it's so different. It's really good. It's made me fall back in love with water.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I wish I could. I really do. I
Yeah. It'll
just,
happen. Don't worry. It'll
well,
happen. You'll
I'm
sort
just,
it.
I've the medication they put me on had made things worse. And so I sort of just went, we'll just monitor that. But I do have to say, and jelly is actually been a bit of a savior for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Even like I still have it with like normal jelly. I don't do chemicals as much as possible. Like, sometimes you have
Yeah.
to, like there's certain chemicals, but
Yeah.
I always like as natural as possible.
Yeah.
So that, it's just something that it just gives my gut that little bit of, I don't know, relief or something. It's
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jelly's jelly's one of those things. It's all water basically with a little bit of
Yeah.
sugar in it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
jelly has a very settling effect on the stomach.
Mm.
But think about it when you were a child, right? Go back to the 1950s or even further. Jelly was something that if you weren't well, you were
Mm.
given jelly.
Yeah, in
And
hospitals, they call it,
yep,
you know, they call it different names in different places, but jelly was always on the menu.
jelly was always on the menu. And if I was sick, my grandmother would always give me jelly. And
Mm.
it's one of those things that whereas we've forgotten about jelly as a
Mm.
thing now. Yeah, and it's great to get really natural. If you can get natural jellies, this is a good thing. That's where you need to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, well, for the moment, and then sometimes it's custard, like a homemade,
Yeah,
just the custard powder and some skim milk,
yeah.
and and then I'll just mix the two. But yeah, I want to get the water. I'm going to persevere. I just kind of manage the time of it, like so that I'm not sitting there trying to talk to somebody.
And desperate to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I like water and I need to shrink away. Like, yeah.
But
Um,
the more you drink, the less you'll pee. That's what people need to understand is the more
right.
I drink and the longer over a longer period of time, the more you
Uh-huh.
drink, the less you'll
Yeah.
pee.
Yeah.
Your body will start using it the way it needs to be used. And you'll
Yeah.
stop peeing it out.
And if you think about it, if you end up like in hospital or something for whatever reason, the emergency department, you've been vomiting or you've had diarrhea or I don't know, food poisoning, whatever. And one of the first things that they often will give you after they take your blood is an IV. And I
Yeah.
remember one day I went and I'd had such a migraine and
Mm.
anyway, eventually after a couple of hours they put up a drip and of course it was 1 litre really quickly. And so, of course, I'm now going, yeah, I have to pee.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's just going straight through me. But then they decided to give me another litre. And I remember sitting there going, I actually feel a bit better.
Yeah.
So, guys, I think today, because we will start to wrap this up, I think if you're messy, one of the messages that we can encourage you to do, I think if I summarize it this way, listen to your body.
Yep.
Properly listen to your body.
Yeah.
I know there'll be someone listening to this going, oh, my body says chicken chips. So they said listen to no, that's not what we're saying.
My body says a block of dairy milk chocolate. No, it doesn't. They're the bad microbiome.
Right. But if you want to look at it this way, those potato chips have some form of potato in them. So therefore it's potato, not the potato chips.
It's more likely the salt. It's more likely the salt that's on it.
I know, but I was trying to get
you need to listen to the body saying it needs the nutrients, not the oral entertainment.
Yes.
So oral entertainment is about boredom. Whereas if you're actually you're going, hey, I would really like a salad tonight. Okay, now we're talking.
So listen to your body properly for a nutritional input and feedback. Water. So if you're on restrictions, if you've got medical advice, follow all of that. But water is good for your body, especially when you put the heater on because you can be dehydrated that way. You just cold. And really, as the seasons change, look at the food and go, I'd love a mango. Okay, well, sure, if you'd love a mango and you're happy to pay $8, sure, go for it. But just listen to your body and really, if you're still stuck, if you're still not sure, please, you can reach out to Kathy. We've got a couple of change of details with Kathy, and then you can check out our magazine. Kathy's recipes are always great. Always get great feedback on all of her recipes. So yeah, anything you'd like to add?
Stay tuned for this next magazine article recipes. They'll be great. They're all about embracing new beginnings. So all the spring recipes. So, and I'll give you one that is my absolute all-time favorite to have for breakfast, which is going to surprise all of you. I look
forward to that. So that'll be out on the 22nd of the month. And we always have links in wherever we post things. We have it Back to Break Free. We also will have Kathy's links all updated and everything. So Kathy, thanks for today. I've loved how, it's sometimes it's not what we think. Like, the asparagus just blew my brain. So like, I just thought that was everybody. I didn't realize that wasn't.
No. It's only a small percentage of the population.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Thanks for today, Kathy. And guys, just stay tuned. Kathy will be back next month as well.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great month. Bye.